My question is...
Kindly don't raise more hands. We are doing one round. We'll have the presenters address them, then we'll do another round. Be patient. Honorable Wamuthende.
Yeah, my questions, one is the pending bills. Has the ministry tried to correlate the relationship between maybe pending bills and non-compliance in tax? Because Kenyans are owed a lot of money, which has affected businesses, which could also be affecting the collection in revenue. Number two, if we look at KRA, for example, we have VAT, which becomes due at the point of invoicing, yet government pays sometimes in 6 months, 1 year. So do you have a mechanism to protect suppliers or even contractors? Because when VAT becomes due, already when KRA is facing you, you are like a villain. Is it possible for VAT to be due, especially for government contractors, at the time you are paid? Because you invoice today, you are paid sometimes after 2 years. That's on VAT. Then on
how many questions
saying,
then? You've already asked two questions.
It's a very important question. One, is there something like preemptive rights or rights of first refusal for existing shareholders? Probably that could have led to government considering Vodacom as the first person to offer those shares, so that we avoid the talk that is going on about going out to auction when there are already existing shareholders who have a right to buy Safaricom. Thank you.
Very well. Shinali?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Keep it precise.
I want to be precise, Madam Chair, in terms of privatization of public companies or facilities. Madam Chair, there is the issue of when we are selling our shares in public companies, we need to look at the issue of control of market. I want to take one case in particular of EABC, East African Portland Cement, Madam Chair, where one company, Kalahari Cement from Tanzania, is purchasing shares of Holcim Limited of 41.5% in Bamburi. The shares on the market is 58, and the Holcim through Associated International and Cementia associate companies are selling at 27 through a private arrangement. This is where the government of Kenya through NSSF owns 27%.
Honorable Shinali, don't do a presentation because we are still waiting for the question.
Yeah, I want to put the question, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, through the sale, the government of Kenya is losing 781 million because on the market is 58, and through a private sale, without consultation, without public participation, they are selling at 27. And NSSF also, the matter is in court, but it's also selling at 27%, 27 shillings. While on the market, NSC, it's 58. We would not like to know why. And the 6% owned by the public, have this public been involved in the whole process, Madam Chair? That's what we would like to know. And how much shares owned by Treasury at 25% was sold at, so that we can arrive at the total amount that Kenyans are losing through this process, which we have not seen an independent evaluation, which you have not seen a report from Competition Market Authority.
Honorable Shinali. Thank you. Salasya?
My concern is not about the share pricing, Madam Chair. My concern is on decision-making organ of the institution as Safaricom. You all know that you cannot put a well-performing company on and try to dilute the shares, because you know that Safaricom plays a very is a strategic investment in this country. So trying to put it on to dilute its shares, it is going to affect its performance going forward, because we are stripping off the assets or the capital and put into other things. So I want to stand here to challenge the Bwana PS that it's not prudent to reduce the government say, because we know government relies on Safaricom and on many areas, and we must know the fundamentals of Safaricom, that it's not about making profit, but how strategic it is to this country. So when PS trying to interfere with the Safaricom, you are going to mess up. Like yesterday, even Shah relies on Safaricom, everything relies on Safaricom. So honorable members, I want to ask you, don't even bother to listen about the pricing. It is not about the pricing. We have a company like Mumia Sugar that was performing so well before it was put on NSE. But because it was put there, it interfered with the decision-making organ. And that is how it led to its collapse. So, honorable members, please reject this thing called stripping off the government investment. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
We'll give the PS. There was no question. We'll give the PS. We'll give the PS to make to answer those. If you need assistance from your team, you can request for it, and Honorable KK will also respond to a few of them. Then we will take another round. I've already directed so.
Mr. Speaker and honorable members, before I answer some of the questions, I would like to introduce members of my team from Treasury. We have Albert Mwenda. He's the Director General in charge of Budget, Economic and Fiscal Affairs. Then we have Stephen Ikiki, who is the Director in charge of Public Investment Management. And then we have Mr. Bet, who is in charge of Parliamentary liaison. Is in charge of matters Parliament. So, Honorable Faith, your question was on pending bills. And I would like to report that a pending bills verification committee was appointed and gazetted to finalize work by last year. But we had to give additional time because the workload was more, and their mandate ended in December last year. So we have now a report that has been presented to us, which we are getting ready to present to Cabinet for approval on the next step. The figures I have seen is that of the 660 billion that were given to the committee, they have managed to recommend for payment about 255 billion. Out of that 255 billion, 80 billion is to the road sector. And that has already been settled through the securitization of RMLF. So we have a balance of 175 billion, which is we are going to take to Cabinet, and it's our intention that we allocate financing and bring to you for approval in Parliament in this supplementary. And if our fiscal framework can accommodate the entire amount, we will do so. If not, we will also have part of it to be settled in July, the next, so that we clear it in 2 fiscal years. It is our intention to clear everything verified, because we are also aware that many entities are really suffering because they have not been paid. And so that is why it is very high on agenda. Honorable Karoli, I think in the independent market survey, I thought FCPA chairman, Mr. Honorable Kuria, did very well by actually bringing the formulas here. I am a person from economics and finance, and I fully concur on the valuation approaches he presented and the numbers that came out there, because I think I have also interacted with them. So if you look at the volume, what we call volume of weighted average price for the last 6 months before the time when we went for the valuation, you will see that average price was showing 27.5 shillings. And you saw the market price that was given there was around 24. I think the highest was 36. What was eventually agreed with the Vodacom was 34 shillings, which is, so this sale is being done at premium of 23.7%. And I know the prices may have changed from that time, so that what you see in the market may be lower, but you will see that it is above 17%, selling at a premium. So here, we are getting value for money. And then early dividend, you also saw, it was shown clearly. You are getting 40 billion early, in advance, and you pay 55 in 6 years. So if you took 40 billion now, assuming you took a debt, you would find that you would, the mathematics is short. Maybe someone should show us that slide, because those figures were very correct.
Honorable Karoli, what is out of order?
There is the independent market survey, which is what you asked.
Mr. Speaker, under our Constitution, and Article 232 and Article 10, there are principles of public finance management. Before any discussion should have started on the sale of government stake, the government should have done a survey listing all the pathways to divestiture and analyzing each of those pathways, their pros and cons, and the most likely yields that they would bring if government divested 15% of its shares in Safaricom. What we have here is an exclusive arrangement. And I gave the example that even though it is a block sale to an existing shareholder, suppose the 15% shares were offered to other telco operators or to other institutional investors, which one would have given us a more competitive edge as a government? That is the question I'm asking. It is not the valuation methods. I understand those. I'm not interested in the valuation methods. I'm interested in the divestiture options that the government should have first.
Point made and
made your point.
So that's the answer I want. Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to confirm that we actually did that in-house. By the time we made this decision to go for a premium and giving to Vodacom, we had done that. Because if we offered to the public, most likely we would be selling at a discount, not at a premium. And that is what we worked out. If we want to market and give to the rest of the 25%, we would be selling at a discount. So discount means we would be even lower than 24.5. It will be at a lower value of 24.5. But here, we have negotiated for the best price, 34 shillings, which is 24% higher And you can prove us wrong by telling us that we would be selling it at a premium to the public, to the other shareholders. Yeah, we can do that in our in-house because I have the director there, he's taking note. Honorable Basil, you also asked the same thing on 40 billion. And I think we were given here that presentation that was here, which showed that 40 billion is good because you would be getting a price of, borrowing at 5.6%, as opposed to the price, which would be at around 11%, if you were to get the same money from the market. Let's say you do a sovereign bond. And if you do market, what we call present value of that 40 billion, it would be 29 billion. Compared to 40, you would be getting, you see, you are getting a net present value of 10.6 billion. So whichever way you look at it, this is a good offer. And we carefully looked at it. And these mathematics showing here are clear. The cash flow shows that 40 billion today we take. And then we will pay 55 billion in 6 years. So the implied cost of funds would be that you would pay only 5.6%. But the market survey, if you look at it, if you are to compare with what is in the sovereign yield, you would be paying 11.3%. So which one is better? We are getting a better deal. 5.6 is better than 11.3%. Then if you take the present value of 55 billion at say 11.3%, which is the sovereign yield, you would be getting 29. In other words, 55 billion that we are getting in 60 that will be in 6 years, today it would be 29.3 billion. But today we are getting 40. So we are getting 11 billion more. Someone can challenge us whether that is wrong or right, but I think we are very right, and these mathematics are clear. And what about the future value of 40 billion? Assuming that you invest in the sovereign, in the market at 11.3%, this would give you 76 billion. But you are paying how much? You are going to pay 55 instead of 76. So you are going to pay less. And so the gap is 20 billion. The facts speak for themselves. Numbers are stubborn. And they never lie. Honorable Bishop, you saw that in the presentation I made. I think if you can show the presentation I made on the economy, the sectors of the economy. It was just a second slide. So you have our economy. I don't know if it's shown. Can you show it? But the point is, our economy is diversified, and there is no one economy that we rely on. If there is a shock, we would really suffer. We would not suffer because it is diversified. Most of it are services, most of it is agriculture, and we don't have minerals. If you look at this, agriculture is 22.5%. Then transport is 12.7%. Real estate, 8.4%. Financial services, 7.9%. Wholesale, look at construction. In fact, what we would say in minerals, which other countries like Nigeria, like South Africa, and even Egypt have, we don't have. And yet, we have done well in those areas. I think for us it is good that we don't have one sector that we have to rely on. South Africa, if you go to the next slide, if you look at Nigeria, Nigeria used to be #1 economy in Africa for many years. But where is it now? It is #4 because it lost a lot when it came to prices of oil going down. And because it's heavily dependent on oil, its GDP has shrunk For us, because it's diversified, we have done well. Now, go back again to the next slide, the previous slide. We are doing a lot to also focus on the minerals and general natural resources. And the incentives we have given in the last 3 years are beginning to show, to bear fruit. We have supported the Ministry of Mining with one-off budget, 2 years, I think 2024-25. We gave them about 2.6 billion, and you approved in Parliament, to be able to invest in a number of important areas like lab testing, in recruitment of technical staff. Look at this report that shows which sectors grew in 2025. Fastest. This is mining. If you look at there, mining in that quarter, in the third quarter, grew by 11, I don't know whether you can see that number. 16.9. And the previous quarter, it was 15.3, which shows that the work we are doing on mining and quarrying is beginning to bear fruit. And we know that we have a lot of deposits. In fact, if you go to Kwale and many other areas, there's a lot that we can have. So we could be able to expand our GDP by focusing more on this. But my point is, we don't have one economy that if a shock came, we would suffer. And this is why we pride ourselves that we are a resilient economy. Anytime a shock comes, we are able to recover. We bounce back quickly. And Honorable Sunkuli, on the equalization fund, I think maybe I can arrange to give a proper report on this so that you see, because it also comes to you for approval. But our equalization fund board is managing these funds, and we normally, what you vote, we are able to prioritize. But we know that it's been lagging behind. But I'll give a proper report on this. So, which one will go first? We are working, the initial plan was that since you passed the GOE bill, we would set up the infrastructure fund through the Companies Act. And that does not take long. And we would expect that we'll come back to Parliament. Once you you approve the fund, we still bring to you to approve. And we would then have an account at the central bank to deposit and only use it on the projects that you have approved. We know that we are doing public participation, and we are amenable to also better proposals on this item, and therefore it's a matter that we can also quickly work around it to make sure that we address any matter before the time frame that is there. And this is something we are doing in concurrence. So we'll do further consultation quickly and see how to address this matter. Honorable Kamene, I think I would need to get the facts on this issue of Portland, unless Mr. Ikiki, you have any facts now. I would agree, I would request that I come back to you on the appropriate questions on this. Honorable Wamuthende, pending bills I think I have answered. And on the issue of whether we should delay payment of VAT, we cannot do that because the laws that this House enacts are the ones that the citizens use. So KRA has no legal power to suspend payment of VAT until pending bills are paid. Unfortunately, we have to operate. What we are doing now is to work very hard to avoid further accumulation of pending bills. And you saw we have demonstrated this in the last few years. The last year, June, the last fiscal year, 24-25, we managed to pay all pending bills. I mean, we gave all the exchequer requirements, 100%. We paid CDF, we paid counties, we paid everyone, and we did not have any carryovers to this fiscal year. So far, we have made a lot of progress, and I think if you check with most MDAs, they have received their exchequer, including Parliament. If there are any delays, there may be just few, but I give you assurance we are going to be paying. And we are working hard to make sure by June this year, we will also settle all exchequer requirements that are supposed to be issued based on the budget that you have approved. So we have, and then we have gone to accrual accounting.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Speaker, and the chairperson of this session. PS, on a point of order, and I hear you, that you have released exchequer, you have done exchequer releases for payment of pending bills. And you know the National Treasury is a super ministry. And you're also a super PS to the extent of the powers that you have at the National Treasury. You also know that our laws obligate accounting officers in ministries and MDAs to ensure that pending bills are the first charge to the exchequer. And I think that is where we are going wrong. Because you are releasing money to ministries and MDAs, but because of corrupt practices in those ministries and MDAs, accounting officers are not settling pending bills. And that is the bottom line. And I'll tell you, because I spoke here on Tuesday, and I pleaded with these members to offer meaningful oversight over the executive. Because when you release money, for instance, to pay pending bills,